welcome to Intuitive Living. I'm your host, Silvia Sisson, and in today's episode, I have a guest, the beautiful Allison. Allison is a Native American shaman, medium, animal communicator, spiritual ascension teacher, channeler, and energy healer, and much more. Welcome, Allison.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Tell me a little bit about yourself. How did you get into mediumship and channeling and all the good stuff?
Yeah, I was always very different as a child, and I was born from birth to 4.5, extremely ill, clinging to life, in and out of the hospital, different things. And then at 4.5, I had my first near-death experience. And my light team, my angels, just came in and saved me overnight, and was completely healed and in a remission until I turned 40. And then this bizarre physical illness stuff started to come back again. And when it came back again, I had 2 more in the last couple of years, near-death experiences. And that's when it really, because I don't really remember the first one.
Yeah.
And then all the abilities came flooding out. And I remember having different experiences as a kid, and I would share it with my family or different things, and they would kind of laugh or blow me off. So I just sort of pushed it in. I just pulled it inside and just pushed it inside and just kind of went about my life. But I could always hear things and see things, and I was always sensitive to things. Extremely sensitive child. And I figured out from an early age how strong of an empath I am. Yeah. My aura, for instance, our energy body outside of us, mine's like the size of a city block. So it's a lot to manage, but I figured out how to manage it through the time.
Yep, I know.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so yeah, then just all these abilities after my near-death experiences started to flood out. And I was done with pretending I wasn't this way, and so I just decided to
step into your soul purpose.
Exactly, right? And listen to it, and then learn. And I'm still learning. There's still so many things. I've been a healer in many past lifetimes, mostly indigenous healers, and I'm Native on my dad's side. And basically, I've honed it through time. And then when I had my first session with someone, I had her on the table, and she was going through a divorce that was very shocking for her, and I felt so terrible for what she was going through. And my very first session with someone, I hear intuitive things in my left ear now all the time, but this was the first time. And I heard, "She's not sad about her divorce, she's angry, go into her liver and pull it out."
Okay.
And I thought, okay, anger, liver, well, that's acupuncture and Eastern medicine for millennia, thousands and thousands of years. It's highly understood. And I knew that, and I thought, pull it out. What? That's how? Yeah, exactly. So then I just thought, okay, well, let me just try to pull it out of her with my hand. And I did this like jellyfish thing. I don't work this way anymore. This is years ago, but I did this jellyfish thing and pulled it all out of her. And she's crying and releasing and going through this whole metamorphosis. And it was so beautiful. And I feel terrible because I'm pulling it all into myself. And I don't know
how to protect
who I am or what I'm doing or any of these things. I had protections up, but I pulled it directly into myself. All of her pain, basically, and anger. And so that was really intense. And then I basically went through a bunch of meditations and figured out that with my left hand, that's just my spirit hand. Everything that I do is connected to my left hand. That I can pull many things with permission out of people. Emotional things, physical issues. I had a woman with carpal tunnel one time with 2 braces ready to get the surgery. One session, I get permission to pull it out. I pull all of it out. She's healed. I never see her again.
Oh, wow.
So now I have that all the time. 1, 2 sessions, whatever it is, whoosh, pull it out, it's gone. So I didn't know that I was a medicine woman. I didn't know that this was shaman. I just am helping people pulling things out. And I'm a Reiki master and all those other things I've taken through the years since 2012 and all these other things. But I basically called it energy release therapy because I'm pulling the energy out
Right.
of the issue. And so that's what I call it. But really, it's a shamanic technique
Practice.
that's been handed down a lineage and to me from all these other
ancestors.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, but I didn't know this until I started to hang out with more native elders, and they said, Allison, we've been doing this for thousands of years. And they connected, master, teacher, elder, native elder connected, and he said, you have 18,000 years of wisdom inside you.
Oh, wow.
And that's why you just do this,
Yep.
and you just know what to do, and it gets stronger and stronger. So at first it was kind of jarring and interesting, but then I figured it out and
Right.
honed it, and now I know I just get to help people, and this is all I'm called to do. I can connect to animals and communicate with them, living in past, people living in past. Yeah, mediumship, channeling, all these things just, I studied some of it, and then it just came to me in different various ways as well.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah, and here I am doing all this different
I love it.
stuff all the time, and changes almost every day.
Yes, absolutely. It's never the same, right? You
Yeah.
sit with someone and it's always something
Yeah,
different.
a lot of it I just figure out on the fly, or I
Yes.
connect with a chief that I worked with in a past life, and I was his apprentice, and he was the first being that really believed in me and loved me with unconditional love, and he showed me the way, and he channels through me and helps me and gives me advice and tells me what to. It's amazing.
Yeah, I know. I have similar experiences with, I have a spirit guide that's with me, and he's just like my best friend.
Yeah.
Best friend. and
Yeah.
I trust him in my life. I
Yeah.
would absolutely, like anything I do, I check with him first.
Yeah, it's
and we have a
amazing.
nice little thumb system. So it's like thumbs down, don't do it.
Yeah,
thumbs
yeah.
up, do it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel with you. I can relate to you.
Yeah.
Also, like I remember, like in the very beginning with the chakra system, I didn't know about the chakras, and I got guided to actually work with them, and I did not know how to work with them. So it's actually appropriate for my energy, and I took on pains and like took on whatever that person experienced at that
Yeah.
time. So yeah.
Yeah.
And then as we go, we learn and figure it out, and
Absolutely.
And I think it's so unique for each and every person because we are so different in how we experience energy. So it has to be tailored to each and every individual.
Yeah.
So what works for you might not work for me, and
Yeah.
vice versa.
Yeah, and some people I just do one thing, or it's extremely specific. Like just Sunday night, a woman was getting over COVID, a client of mine, and I have such a lot of amazing clients in my life. I'm very blessed. And she had COVID, and I said, well, I'll get permission, I'll just pull it out. And she goes, what? And I said, yeah, I've done it for many people. I'll just get permission and I'll just pull it out. If it's not a lesson or something that they have to go through, I'll just pull it out. And so then I just pulled it out, and she sent me a text this morning. Oh my God, it's so amazing. And I love connecting with her. We spent the whole hour just talking and connecting because she's such a gift as a person. And she said, oh, I tested negative today, and da-da-da. And it's just,
I love that.
Yeah, so that I boosted her immune system with stuff, herbs and different things. I can just call upon all these different energies that I've attuned to by myself. I figured out how to connect them to me, and then I can just send them to the person, and then
It will help the overall.
It's all intuitive, and then pull out whatever is the issue. And my boyfriend actually is a Lakota native shaman, and he's very powerful as well. So he pulls many, many things out of people, and again, sees them once or twice.
Right.
That's it.
Right.
It's amazing. So
I love that.
yeah,
I love
we're
that.
a power duo.
I love that. And I love that you have somebody you can kind of like share the experience with.
I can get as weird as possible, like him with me, and we just laugh. And to us, it's like, to other people hearing us, I took a dark entity out of someone's toenail, and then I had to make a ceremony. I'm just joking, but like I had to make a ceremony and then do this thing. And he'd be like, yeah, of course. Of course you had to make a ceremony over this toenail and all this stuff, And everybody else would be like, what?
What are you talking about?
Are you out of your mind?
I love that. I love that. Yeah, I feel like the same with my husband. Definitely super supportive and
nice.
Just kind of holding that space for me. And
nice.
certain things are definitely probably not a normal way of going through life or discussions on our dinner table.
Yeah.
But yeah, it works for us.
Exactly.
So yeah, absolutely. Now I'm wondering, so if you're out and about, right, as an empath, I think I'm a huge empath, so I always feel energy as I'm going through life. But I'm wondering if you're out and about and you see or meet a person, and you can sense there's something still within them, how do you go about that? Like, are you gonna go and, hold back, or you're trying to make them aware of it?
Yeah.
Is it even happening to you, or you
Yeah.
just kind of know how to protect yourself? So it's
I like to do like the gurus in India sometimes.
Yes.
I like to play with vibration, but it's more like a video game. So what I like to do, it's not so much about other people. It sort of is, I guess. I like to go into like a grocery store, and I can be on such a higher frequency and a different vibration that I will do different things in the grocery store and no one notices me. Ronnie, my boyfriend, can do the same thing. Like he says he shapeshifts. He just disappears. And people don't. It's so wild. And I can drop cans in the grocery store and the people are all around me. They don't even hear me. They don't see me. Or I can go, "Wah!" and I make like weird sounds and no one look. It's like, we can play with a lot. I mean, everything is energy and vibration. Right. And so we can play with all these things, and I can be in a crowd and not even be there. Right. Then I can, set energy to do basically anything I figured out with it. So it's really, it's been pretty incredible and pretty amazing. But I did have an experience that was really neat in downtown Providence, actually, here in the state of Rhode Island. That's our capital. And there's a gift shop, and I went last winter for a Christmas gift, and it was a postcard or something, and I took it home and I screwed it up. And so I had to go back and get it again. But the first time I was in there, it's like crowded Saturday before Christmas. Right. And there was a woman working behind the counter, and all of a sudden her dad is like, I need to talk to my daughter. I need to talk to my daughter. And I go, okay, I'm just trying to grocery shop. And I'm like,
not
okay.
Today.
I'm like, all right. So I go over to her, and I'm very embodied with who I am in every place and every way that this is me. And I'm not going to hide it any. I spent years hiding it as a kid, and I'm not going to anymore. So I went over to the counter, and I just said, hi, has your father passed? And she said, yeah, when I was 14 or something. I don't remember. She was a young teenager. And I said, yeah, I have spiritual abilities, and he's communicating with me. Is it okay if we step to the side and he just comes through right now? And she started crying. Yes, I didn't understand when he died so suddenly. So he wanted to explain through me and could connect to me and knew that I could do this, which happens a lot with animals, and a lot with animals, all the time. So long story short, I did some things, and I hear and feel the most. So I could feel him, and he was so loving. He was like a roly-poly, like a little bit overweight, like jolly guy. And I said something like, you're from Connecticut? And she goes, yeah, I actually had my dad's license when he died, and it was the first license I had in Connecticut that was old and laminated. And I was like, whoa, it's so weird. And that's exactly what he looked like to me. And I said, but your dad had like a heart of gold. It's amazing. He was a heart of gold. He helped everybody. He loved everybody. So we had that experience. She was crying, and it was very healing and things, and that was really lovely. And then I left, and I had to come back the next week because the thing I wrote got screwed up. Right. So I come back, and she goes, oh my God. Because I never gave her my information and just, thank you, have a good day. Right. And she goes, thank God you came back in. I meant to tell you, my father, that came through and everything, and you kept saying he had a heart of gold. I said, oh yeah, I remember I said that like 3 times in a row. And I felt it was odd why I kept saying it 3 times in a row. And she said, I have a side business. I don't just work here, and it's heart of gold. Oh, wow. And she brought that out and showed me her card. And she goes, I don't know what it is, but you've got it. And that was right in the beginning when I started to use that stuff like a year ago more and more, and trust myself. Because a lot of these abilities we all have, we just have to tune to it. Absolutely. And then we have to let go and trust. Absolutely. And with humans, the toughest thing is letting go. Yes,
not having that ego come in. And,
letting go.
Like that fear, am I really right on? Is this really going to be okay? Does this make sense? It never makes sense to us, ever. In sessions, I always say to my clients, I can go through the session and I have no idea what I'm talking about, literally no connection to whatever I'm saying at that point. But it will make sense to you as a client.
Yeah.
And that's literally coming in without ego, just kind of like being open to receive, being that channel,
Yeah.
and just doing what you need to do at that moment.
Yeah.
Right? Now, you said you communicate with animals, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, everything is energy. So if you can connect with deceased loved ones, I feel it's just another thing. It's just other energy with animals, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like sometimes, like for me, like I do communicate with animals, but I prefer humans. I don't know why. I love animals, love them,
Yeah.
but communicating with them is, for me, I don't know. I had a really interesting experience many years back, and that kind of like made me step back a little bit. But I was just wondering, how do you experience that?
I love it. I love animals. I haven't eaten animals since I was very little. I actually have animal chakras on the bottom of my feet, so I'm one of the few people that can get animal Reiki. And I just could not eat them anymore. I saw the cages and the treatment, and there was no difference for me, even as a child, looking at that, thinking I was any different than the animal in that cage. And so that was just out. Now I've been vegan for, I don't know, 24 years. I don't even know, it's forever. And so I guess I can't really do that. And so I do a lot now with horses, which has been really cool. And horses are like ascended masters. Horses are completely connected.
Right.
They're completely intuitive spiritual beings. They're very special. There's certain places in the world where they bring horses in for healing in hospitals.
Nice.
They're just, they're very incredible. And I've worked a lot with rescued farm animals, cows and pigs and chickens and different things. So, so that was always kind of interesting. And then I took a course and I learned animal communication, like a couple different ways how to do it. Only one way really connected with me and really worked for me. And so that way I use it. It's basically a conversation soul to soul is kind of how I do it. But now I'll just be somewhere and the dog will come up to me and start talking. So I was at a yoga studio that I do these huge group weekly group healings and spiritual workshops. And upstairs there was this big golden retriever and just randomly goes, my stomach hurts, my stomach hurts, my stomach hurts. She's not helping me, my stomach hurts. And then the person that has the dog comes over and goes, is she talking to you about the stomach? And I said, I've never met these people. How do they know that I'm communicating with the dog? And it was so interesting. And I said, yeah. And she said, is she talking about her stomach? And I said, yeah. And she said, well, what is it? And we figured out it was chicken. And I said, okay, have a good night. And like 2 minutes later, I left. It was
just kind of wrapping it up, making sure it's good.
Moving it out. But nice people, and lovely dog, and leaning on me because a lot of times animals haven't had anyone communicate to them before. So especially horses, when I do it, my eyes are closed and I'm basically in like a trance. And then I wake up and the horse head will be like right here in my face. I'm like, oh my God, because they've never had a human really talk to them. But it's nice because it's just like people. I can communicate with them at end of life when they're hanging on and be like, it's okay, you can go. And then they'll text me the next day, okay, they went. Or I do a lot with hospice. Families will hire me for, my website, you see spiritual transitioning with passing. So I've been doing that for years. And hospice is a special place. And having had 3 near-death experiences, we all come back with no fear of death.
Absolutely.
So, so it's very special for me to be there with animals or with people. Once in a while, animals, mostly people. At end of life, because there's no errors. There's no errors, so everything is divine timing, and it's time to go. It's time to go, and that's okay. It's okay.
Absolutely. Now before we prepped on Friday, just kind of like checked in with each other because that's the first time we actually met, kind of. And you let me know, or you told me you would love to do a forgiveness meditation. So if you're up to and you feel comfortable, I would love to have you conduct one. Sure. So I've been working on forgiveness as a theme for a while, because I think of it really as forgiveness is like we're locked in a cage and we don't realize that we have the key around our neck the whole time to open the door.
And it's a tether between the other person. And the other person needs that release as much as you do. And back to humans letting go.
Right.
It's so important for us to just let it go.
Right. No attachments.
Right. We can't control. Suffering is only here to teach us about our attachments. That's all that's about. And so at the end of the day, if we can shift the energy and release that and let them go, we let ourselves go. And with that, we can do all these different exercises to really let them go. And we can have conversations in meditation with our subconscious. So we're run 85% by our subconscious mind. Only a little bit is conscious. So everything around us is, programming us or this or that. And so the good news, because I'm glass half full person, having dead and come back 3 times,
Right.
that there's always an opportunity or a way that we can, shift things and look at it as a positive, and the subconscious mind is just as easy to program for good.
Absolutely.
And very quick. It's
Yes.
very quick. So we could do these different meditations of going down into our heart space, and we can communicate with another person
Would you say
with their
that's
subconscious mind.
I'm sorry. Would you say that's the higher self we are communicating with?
So in this, I just go subconscious to subconscious.
Okay.
I don't use higher self in this,
Okay.
but I do higher self a lot of times. Yeah. But this, I would just take you on a journey down into your heart space, and then invite someone in that maybe has wronged you. Even if it's uncomfortable, it could be your mother, it could be a family member, it could be a boss, anything, where you feel a trigger, you feel activated around it. Anytime there's any activation around anything, there's just a call to heal it, to release it. But easier said than done. So these type of meditations or exercises can just facilitate it faster.
Right.
I've found with my clients. So, yeah. So I can do
Love
it.
that. Yeah, love that.
Okay. Okay. So we just want to gently close our eyes. We're going to breathe in for 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold for 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out for 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe in for 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold for 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out for 1, 2, 3, 4. And now I would like you to imagine a little tiny staircase going from your head down to your heart. You're going to create this tiny little staircase from your head space into your heart space. And if you have trouble visualizing it, you can simply say out loud or silently, I'm going from my head space down a staircase into my heart space. And envision a little tiny version of you walking down that staircase. And when you get to the bottom, there'll be a door. And now open the door and step into your heart space. Your heart space can look like anything you want. It can be clear white. It can be a single color, the forest, a beach, anything that you'd like that makes you feel comfortable. Look around, investigate it. If it's the beach, pick up a handful of sand. Maybe you can hear the waves crashing on the shore. Hear the trees if it's in the forest. And then when you're ready, I ask you to invite in, to communicate for forgiveness, listen to and speak to someone that may have wronged you. You'll know who it is. Trust yourself and bring that person in. Or conversely, you can do it on yourself and forgive yourself for something. But if you're communicating with someone else, you're just communicating with their subconscious mind back and forth. And really be present and listen to what they have to say. And take your time. And when you feel it's complete, thank them for coming, thank the energy, and let them go. Make your way to the door. Open it. And walk back up the staircase from your heart space, back up into your head space. And when you're at the top, you can open your eyes.
I love that. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Really, really, really beautiful.
Yeah.
Very, very
And you can
powerful.
you can do that one as many times as you want with as many people or whatever you feel called to. I've used it many times myself, and it's created a great sense of peace over things that I need to let go.
Love that.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna come to an end. So for the viewers, how can they get in touch with you?
Yeah. So my website is my name. It should be at the bottom of the screen right now. It's www.AllisonHoladay, HOLADAY, like Ola Day. .com. You can reach me there. You can also reach me on my Instagram, which is Holaday, my last name, Healing.
I love that.
Those are like the two best ways to reach me, I think.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. Thank you so much for being part of this today.
Yeah, thank you for having
me. It was a pleasure
me.
having you. It's beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.
For those who want to get more information or want to get in touch with me in regards to the episode today, feel free to contact me at silviasisson.com. Thank you for watching. Until next time.